Good morning, Bryan Cooksey.
Well, hey, Margie, how are you?
I am great, and welcome to the very first iteration of the Rotary News Network outside of our cable channel.
It's wonderful to be here and exciting to see modern technology at work in the community.
This is live from McCall Pest Control, located at
2861 College Street, where we say, call McCall, we do it all.
How long have you been here, Bryan?
Well, I've been here since 1988, but fortunately the company has been here much longer. They started back in the 20s, 1928. You had two brothers, John and Sid McCall, that started up this business. And what their primary purpose was warming people up in the wintertime and cooling them off in the summertime. So they delivered oil to heat them up, and they delivered ice to cool them off. And that's sort of our roots in the community here. And it's expanded over the years. I guess after World War II, they went into distributing fuel oil, kerosene, and diesel. Had a lot of members in our club were customers in, as well as many of the grandparents of people in our community now. Today, mostly what we do is pest control, lawn care, and we still do a little bit of fuel oil delivery. Our biggest customer right now is the Navy bases.
No kidding.
No kidding. So trying to keep our country safe with a little bit of good old-fashioned McCall fuel oil. And the lawn care and pest control is our growing side of our business right now. And we cover basically most of the geographical area in Florida and 3/4 of Georgia locally, and we also have the ability to do national accounts, which is an exciting thing for us to expand into.
How many offices do you have, does McCall presently have in the U.S.?
Currently right now we have 7 service centers, and with the Cooksey network we have probably 80 affiliates across North America where we can provide service for the national accounts.
Remarkable. And how do you address the riverkeeper concerns about environmental issues that emanate from the pesticides that people need to keep their lawns looking beautiful?
Well, we actually embrace those needs because we share the same concern the riverkeeper does with protecting our environment. The way we protect it is by how we apply our materials, and we have this zone of no application, like 10 feet off every water basin, as well as blow the fertilizer off driveways and stuff so it won't go down the stormwater drain and try to get it into the grass. We've been very active and actively preparing and working with all the stakeholders in the industry as well as the environmental side of the house in writing policies that will protect our environment.
Beautiful. Wonderful. Now, you are this year's president of the Rotary Club of Jacksonville.
That is correct.
The first club in Florida.
Rotary's first club, the 40th club in the world. And this year we're celebrating our 105th year with our 106th birthday coming up on February the 13th. And excited to have that role. I've been in the club. This is my 24th year. I've done a little bit of everything from the committees and participation, but the main thing I guess I like most about Rotary is the opportunity to give back. And I would say probably my watershed moment was when I had the opportunity to go to India on an international trip. It's something we self-funded, but when we went over there we got to meet the players who really started the End Polio Now campaign. At the time when they rolled it out, there were probably 500,000 children a year being infected with the polio virus in India, and today they've completely eliminated it in India, and well, it's 23 other countries around the world.
It is completely eradicated in India.
Completely eradicated in India, and for that to occur means there are no incidences for a period of 3 years to be able to claim that through the World Health Standards. We do have a couple countries still with issues, and we had one pop up in Africa this year, I believe, as a new area of infestation, I guess, for the disease. But luckily, we have a full focus of the Rotary clubs around the world, 1.2 million members, as well as a community of World Health Organizations, as well as the Bill and Linda Gates Foundation. And we're putting a lot of money and resources into eliminating polio from the world. Our goal is to see this disease eradicated from the world. And then we can do other good things. The other neat thing, I guess, this year, since you asked, is the 100th anniversary of the Rotary Foundation. It actually started in Atlanta in 1918. I believe, or I guess 1917. And this will be the 100-year anniversary of it. The actual Rotary International Convention's in Atlanta. There's a big encouragement for getting all Rotary members to Atlanta this year, because we get to host the International Convention, where Rotarians from all over the world come and celebrate Rotary together. And one of the big things is the 100th anniversary of the actual foundation itself.
So people are welcome, if they're a member of Rotary, to attend this particular convention.
They are.
And when is that being held?
That is going to be held in June 9th through the 15th up in the Atlanta area. It's downtown Atlanta. John Jerm is actually a citizen of the United States and a Rotary International president. He's sent us a great invitation. And we're excited. I believe we have over 30 members of our own club going up there, and probably several hundred from our district.
Amazing. You know, besides this extraordinary global reach that we seem to have in a palpable way, our club is also recipient of some ophthalmologists from Africa who are coming in, and I guess it's my understanding, please clarify, that they come in every year. They're coming in shortly. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
I'd love to. That is actually something that the John Williams family, members of our club, started many years ago. I would say it's probably about 15 to 20 years ago. And initially they reached out to train doctors from other countries in the most current technology being used in the ophthalmology world. And they looked for grants for scholars. And what we had was individuals from different countries apply for this. And most recently, Africa has been the biggest recipient of these scholarships. They come here, they stay a week. They go and tour different medical facilities in the Jacksonville community. And then they go to the Ophthalmology International Convention held here in the United States. And they walk away from here with a much better understanding of how to apply technology, as well as how to help their community better when they get home. The biggest difference we see when we talk with them, have conversations, and get to know them, many of them live in the Rotarians' homes. I think you're hosting a member as well. I think that's a neat opportunity, and you're going to have a great experience doing that.
Actually, I wanted to, but by the time I volunteered, there were enough club members who had already offered their homes. Isn't that wonderful?
That
so
is
I am a
wonderful.
backup.
Well, fantastic.
But part of my interest was not only to really house them and get close to them myself, but for my teenage daughter to see where a nonprofit organization can really touch the world in a very significant way. And I wanted her to meet one of the doctors and see that they were here to learn our technologies and bring them back to Africa. So I'm hoping that everybody's residence will work out, but I'm a backup in case it doesn't.
Well, it's a wonderful experience, and I know the exposure will be great. And I know there'll be a couple opportunities where they will be speaking, as well as I think there's a party on Saturday where I know she'd be a welcome guest and get to interact.
That's great.
And you hear the stories about how they have people lined up in huts, and they have to walk 20, 30 miles to get to their patients that they're offering and providing services for. And when people there experience not being able to see, they feel like they're performing miracles for these people. And it's a great story to hear firsthand and to feel like you're really making a difference for others.
Indeed, it is a miracle. Now, Bryan, on a very micro level, taking it back to Jacksonville and to your leadership role this year, you have an initiative for the club that is unique to Bryan Cooksey, and I would love you to share that with our members. Your 100 days of...
Sure, the 100 Acts of Good. That is a unique thing. We're trying to really do a couple different things. One, not only talk about what is Rotary doing for Rotary's self, but also how do our Rotarians make a difference in the community from many of the different activities that are out there. Most recently, we've had a couple speakers. I believe you actually got to share with us a little bit about two things. I guess we had Illuminate Jacksonville, as well as I believe we had a
Dignity You Wear.
Dignity You Wear, which is providing clothing for people, new clothing for people to make a great impression and to gain more self-confidence and awareness. And I believe you said the organization had roots from the Holocaust.
That's correct.
Isn't that correct? Where they basically, the goal of the Germans was to demean the people and remove their
dignity,
self-value and dignity. And I thought that was a wonderful charity to hear about. We also heard from a member who is doing a marine outreach, teaching children who have never had the experience of being on boats how to build a boat, and after they build their boat, to actually go into the water and see it float. So they can get a feeling of accomplishment, as well as, if it hopefully floats well, gain a lot of self-confidence in their ability to do territory they've never been to before, which is really an eye-opening experience.
Remarkable.
We're looking forward to really hearing about a lot more of our outreach of our Rotarians. The neat thing about our Rotarians, they're already a giving community, and to hear how they're impacting the local community really touches your heart.
Bryan, it's just wonderful and very truly inspiring. Now we're sitting in your corporate office on College Street in Riverside, and what many of our members may not realize is how vast this property is. I mean, it is really tremendous. So I will share some of the landscaped footage after we finish our interview, but tell us a little bit about how you came to own so much property here for your headquarters and what you have going on out there, and anything you'd like to share about what it took to set up a beachhead like this in a very developed community.
Well, we got here first.
There you go.
In the 20s, and back in the 20s, we were bringing railroad cars full of coal and dumping them onto the back lot. That's why we needed a lot of space, and it used to be stacked up pretty high back here, and they would use Model T Fords and Model A Fords to deliver truckloads of coal into people's coal burners, which typically were located down in their basements, or at least in their crawl spaces. We still hear stories from some of our more elderly clients of those days, those happy good old days. But basically you had a chute that ran down into their basements. You still have a lot of that up north, but there's very little of that remaining here in the south, where you had a coal burning stove or wood burning stove where you put your fuel into a heating element to heat your home. And that's why we needed the vastness of the property. And at one time, probably in the 70s, we were the largest oil jobber in the state of Florida, where we had about 1 million gallons of capacity for oil, both here and over at a location off of Pearl Street called Golder Fuel Oil, which they had acquired. Since then, we've sold that property to the city, and they have a maintenance facility there now, I believe. And now we're just down to a couple oil tanks and a lot of room to park pest control trucks and lawn trucks, and a garage facility that maintains those trucks, I think is what you'll see when you take your tour a little later.
It's extraordinary out there. I also wanted you to share with the members a appointment to a national trade association that you received, which I think begins in 2017. Is that correct?
That's correct. As soon as I step out of my role as a Rotary president, I get to step into the role as the president of the National Pest Management Association, which is basically representing the United States and all the pest control, independent pest control operators in the country.
Amazing.
Range in size from the billion-dollar companies of Rentokil, Terminex, Orkin, to the small mom and pops. So you have quite a diversity of members to keep happy and involved and engaged, and it's an exciting opportunity for me and an honor for our family to have this role in the industry.
Bryan, it's just wonderful. Wonderful. Now, you segue to my last question, which is the future of McCall, your family, or extended family. How do you see succession taking place at McCall when you finally decide, and I don't imagine you ever will, but when you finally decide to retire?
No, I guarantee you I will. Right now I'm fortunate to work with two brothers. My brother David is my middle brother, and my younger brother John. John's also a member of the Downtown Club and a past president of the Rotary Club of Orange Park. David is a member of the St. John's Rotary Club. My father and my mother are sit on the board of directors, as well as my sisters Beverly and Kathy, and Beverly's husband Sean is also a member of the Downtown Club. So yes,
Sean Mulholland.
Sean Mulholland, you know him well. And our plan is to see it go another generation.
That's wonderful.
Who is going to fill those shoes yet? We're still in the process of evaluating. We're going to spend a lot of time doing some planning this fall, December, January, with some family business group out of Chicago is coming in to help us think through that process, and hopefully come up with something a little more palatable for the next generation, the Generation X's and Y's and Z's, as they come into here to make it something they want to do and would enjoy doing. It's been a part of our life for a good many years, and we all tried something else before we came into the business. So we think it's important that they go out and learn from others instead of learning and have this attitude of it's ours, it was handed to us, we'd rather them earn it and come in with great ideas and learn that hopefully from working for other people before they ask other people to work for them.
Well, you know, the one of the many wonderful slogans of Rotary is Rotary serving humanity, and there's no doubt that you are doing that in your role, but in all of your roles, in all of your hats. You want to show the...
Sure, I brought many Rotary hats. I have the presidential election kind of hat. I feel a little like Donald Trump, I would say, with the Rotary ball cap. And this was to honor the opportunity to come to downtown Rotary and not have to wear a tie anymore. Sort of a casual approach, so I'll go ahead and take my tie off for the rest of this. The other we have is if you want to go sit in your hunt stand hat, a little more country, and it goes great for the hunting season, and that's one of my favorite hobbies. And the other I have is more of the international flair. This is made actually by women who came out of the sex trade, and they taught a different way of earning a living. And this one came from some of our Rotarian brothers and sisters in Africa, and I picked it up when I was in Seoul, Korea.
For a Rotary convention.
For a Rotary convention.
That was this year, correct?
Exactly. It was a wonderful time. And I would say, no matter what kind of hat you like to wear, or whether you like to wear a tie or not, Rotary is a great place for you to belong. And you should feel welcome to our club anytime.
Bryan, thank you so much. Carry on. You are marvelous. We are so fortunate to have you, and I will let you get back to your very busy day. Thank you for sharing with us today.
Thank you, Margie.